try doing something standing up, see if these are working better. Hang on a second. I had, and y'all, this is the perfect audience for this. And it just happens that I mentioned that to my father that he would see this later. And actually, in my life, there were two fathers. My father of blood, maybe even three. And then a spiritual father, which is Spirit Tom, who's guided me and told me to be myself no matter what and let it all hang out, and do the you thing. And so I love that, and I feel liberated. Oh, and I was born and liberated by two different people. And I told my father I was going to work tonight, or come up here and play, whatever you want to call it. And I would send him a link to the show or to my piece. So this is sort of a really cool, weird, synchronistic moment. 2 days ago, I got a letter, an email from my father, who, to me, is, and y'all, I'm sure y'all met people who are poets, but they don't know it. They have no clue they're poets. But every letter I've ever been written from him, every word he's ever said to me is full of passion and meaning and love and zest for life and honor and dignity and integrity, and the list goes on and on. And to me, that's what poetry is all about. That's the parlance of what poetry is, to be honest and open in church. So I got an email, written in beautiful language. He says, I want you to think about this long and seriously, and don't write it off like your mom would. I know she sort of knee-jerk reaction. But we were watching a PBS special, and there is an organization called edx.org who have poetry classes. And they do them for free, and they're taught by a Harvard professor. That's not the punchline. The punchline goes later. And he said, and because he and my brother and a lot of people are sort of getting swept away on this whole love thing, joy, creative spirit, which is cool, that's what it's all about. And so, on one, I feel deeply honored that he would take the time to do this. And the real catch on the one that stuck in my throat, well, one, he prefaced it well. He said, you should think about this. So he already got me. I can't make a knee-jerk reaction. He says, I need a motivator to take the class with. Would you register for this Harvard class with me, this online class with me, and we'd study poetry together? I finished reading the letter. At that point, I balked really severely. But I love my dad, both of them, or more. So, for the better part of 20-something hours, I let it boil and steep. And I don't know if y'all are like me, but I'm a 4-burner stove, and on one burner can be a pot that's can be like chili, or tea, or spiced wine, and they'll just sit there. So it's mulling. This how to respond? What do I tell my dad? So today I was blasting off emails to everybody. Come to NeWorlDeli. It's gonna be a great show. They're touching the plane. It's a great place to play. Come to NeWorlDeli. And thought, well, looks time to get back to it. So, dear Daddy, and I CC'd my brother, which I think is funny too. Dear Daddy, I've been doing this for 30 years. Since I was about, my first real poem came out when I was about 13 or 14, and I've been doing open mics since I was 18. And I said, Dear Daddy, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've found poetry is something you can't help but do. I started writing a long time ago, and I was writing, I didn't like say, oh, I'd like to write a poem. I just wrote, and I wrote and wrote and wrote, and as I wrote more and more and more, people started saying, hey, that's really poetic, that's what you just said, it's poetic, and so I wrote more and more and more, and pretty soon you get more and more living poetry, That's what I told him. And I said, I followed it up with, you are called to it. Poetry is something you must do, because if you didn't, life would be meaningless. To me, the non-poetic as if it's a preconceived notion. There's an emptiness that is non-poetic. So life is abundantly poetic. So I said to him, if you need a motivator to call you and drive you to poetry, I think you should find some other way to go. This is not something where I sit down and say, I want to make a point. Boom. It's life. The best thing I've come up with recently to tell somebody, I think they're in the audience, is if you're a real poet and you love life, because I think that's a qualifier. I don't think you can hate life and be a poet. It's just a personal preference. I think people who write hateful poetry aren't really writing poetry. It's personal preference. If you love life and meaning with the utmost of your being, then everything you do is poetic. And I think y'all can sense that. Sometimes you're like sitting out watching the leaves blow, or cars going by, and you're, man, that's really poetic. It's because you're a poet. Everything you do is poetic. The points that end up on paper are small, tiny fractions. They're fingernails of who your poetry is. I'm glad you'll listen to me. I apologize for my issues that she and I had. So we'll point on that. Maybe in retrospect it can be different. But I thank you for lending me your ears. If you gain anything, let it flow out of you. Be poetic constantly, just all the time.